We will fly from right to left in Delta formation. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila flying in Roland F-2. Leading the formation, Aguila 1 is flown by Major Perez. Serving his 4th year as team leader, Major Perez is a highly experienced pilot with over 4,500 flight hours, having flown with the Patrulla in previous season as Aguila 3 as well as Aguila 5. The soul of our leader from Swindon. So the display 3 aircraft will remain in formation with the team leader on his right wing. In her second season, Aguila 2 is flown by Captain Garcia Malea, an F-18 pilot with an experience of 1,300 flight hours. Captain Garcia Malea is the first female pilot member of the flying team. Is our particular mermaid of Andalusia, Yole. Please a strong applause for Captain Malea. Aguila 3 on the left wing, flown by Major Zambrano, a fighting pilot in his 3rd year with the Patrulla Aguila, and formerly assigned to Moron Air Base with more than 2,500 flying hours. Piloting Aguila 4 in the slot position, Captain Ibanez, with an experience of 1,200 flying hours. Flying as Aguila 5 in the solo position, Major Marin, constitute a synchro pair. They both have respectively 2,500 and 2,000 flying hours. Super coordination and extensive training are required to perform the precise maneuvers. You can change to pocket formation. Again, from left to right, in pocket formation, a round of applause for our Patrulla Aguila from Spain! The plane, our C-101, is 100% Spanish manufacturing that is used at the Spanish Air Force Academy for the training of the future pilots of our Air Force. During the first part, the team displayed the high level of precision and training necessary to fly 7 aircraft in close formation while performing various maneuvers. You can see the barrel roll left and the streaks to Hornet formation. Following the previous maneuver, the leader calls for a clover leap. It begins like a looping, but with the aircraft with 45 degrees nose up. The formation starts at 90 turn, resulting in this fascinating maneuver. Remember, leading the formation, Aguila 1, flown by Major Perez. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila from Spain. From the Cobra maneuver, a modified version of the clover leap. The wide spoke uses made by a smoke generating system installed on each aircraft. The system injects fuel directly into the aircraft's exhaust stream, which is in tar vaporized product in white contrails. Now again, from left to right, in Aguila formation, a spectacular flyline. Drilling the Fairford skies, literally. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila with the corkscrew. Fantastic. The color of the Spanish flag. Remember, Aguila 6 and Aguila 7. Aguila 6, Aguila 7. Captain Paco Martinez. Two-step call directing a spectacular raid. We will be ready. Get ready your cameras. Patrulla Aguila flying in super milo formation. Ready for the looping. And listen the voice of Major Perez directing the maneuver. When I finish this looping. Again, from left to right, from right to left, the synchropile is ready for our opposing pass. 3, 2, 1, go! With a relative speed of 600 knots, now is the time for the diamond. Passing once again from left to right, from right to left, the diamond will perform for 6 opposing passes. Slow center in 3, 2, 1, go! Pushing the 641 Major Marines push out of the cockpit with a force between 3 and 4 negative G's. While maintaining altitude and airspeed, finishing the maneuver with a 3/4 roll. Spectacular. Very romantic maneuver. Be sure to keep an eye to our solo, because it's ready to stop sound the hair with the Cupid's arrow. Fantastic hair and the arrow of our solo. Remember, Aguila 6, 7, and 5. The diamond sets up to perform the double twister. In this maneuver, Aguila 4 flies inverted off of the lead aircraft, while Aguila 2 and 3 perform several two aircraft. Fantastic this maneuver. A short applause for our diamond. Remember, Aguila 1, 2, 3. Listen the voice of Captain Martin. Wow, spectacular! The opposing pass of our sacred increase in order to join the maneuver with a corresponding fuel into the vertical. Fantastic this maneuver, a strong applause for our Diamond, for our Saab here to be back. One aircraft and his reflection, maintaining side of these two aircraft. Our solo performance and opposing pass from the single barrel from the side. Each aircraft will go.
Je takhle, ale už je to teplý.
Keep rolling around each other again and again. And strong applause for our single barrel. The gear standard will be introduced due to the high drag configuration, complicating the execution. A strong applause for Major Marine, our particular Titan. Formation for a sequential break. During this maneuver, pilot coordination is extremely important to maintain symmetry between each aircraft. After this, they will follow the team leader in train. Remember, our team leader is Major maintaining a train. And now the looping. The train safety ground force is making it necessary for the last aircraft we tried to use earlier. All thrust available to maintain. Patrulla Aguila solo is the only pilot of the national team to perform such a maneuver in a jet aircraft. In poker formation, the loose side of them as they pass. Please prepare your cameras to immortalize this spectacular image. We'll be ready in 3, 2, 1, go! Fantastic! For crossing in 3, 2, 1, go! After the cross, the sixth aircraft will perform a looping followed by a low pass in chopper formation. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila, remember from Spain flying in the Royal International Air Tattoo. Again, from right to left, Patrulla Aguila flying in Japan formation. A strong applause, please. And finally, we will start the third part, the final part of the display. To the second plane on a flyby in a formation introduced to commemorate the pioneer of the aviation, the Plus Ultra. In the Plus Ultra formation, Aguila 4-5 fly immediately over Aguila 6-7, appearing a reflection of the two aircraft. A spectacular Patrulla Aguila flying in the color of the Spanish flag. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila flying the Royal International Air Tattoo. Remember, Patrulla commanding officer, the only national team in the world to perform this maneuver with 7 jet aircraft. A strong applause for Patrulla Aguila, remember, from Spain, flying in the Royal International Tattoo. This concludes the Águila's display. On behalf of the team's commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jose Mora, and the rest of the Patrulla
It is really a
Aguila.
2-disc collector's edition. They have 6 cameras on the ground, and the majority of displays are carrying on-board cameras too. A main feature of the programme will be the RAF 100 flypast, both here at Air Tattoo, and the 100 aircraft flypast over London on Tuesday.
Beautiful, truly beautiful, and it's not the first time it is displayed in the UK. It displayed at the RAF Cosford Air Show on the 10th of June this year, where it won the Bill of He is the instructor on the French Air Force Rafale conversion unit. Conventional strike aircraft, the latter of which we'll see later in the hands of the French Air Force Couteau Delta team. He's been a Rafale instructor since 2014. Displaced, or replaced, I should say, no fewer than 7 other platforms with both the French Air Force and the French Navy. It can perform air-to-air combat missions, conventional air-to-ground missions, nuclear strike, reconnaissance, anti-shipping strike, and they can also fly in the so-called buddy-buddy refueling role. and it was designed right from the start to be exactly that versatile. Into waters with the carriage down. Where the Aviojets has a lot of other commitments. Still not over in the flying display with their Couteau Delta team of the magnificent.
Of the aerobatic maneuvers, barrel roll, few
Firstly, it using all three axes of the flight control surfaces. In 2005 that the Czech Air Force took delivery of its first Gripens. It took 14 of them, a dozen single-seat C models like this, and a pair of two-seat conversion trainers. They were to replace the aging but legendary MiG-21. Czechoslovak Squadron, Royal Air Force, during the Second World War. But there, completing his sequence, Captain Ivo Kardoš with the Czech Air Force, Jas-39C. Lightning 2.
get a moment, Ben. Just a reminder that I'm sure there are plenty of youngsters who like to go and meet the Red Arrows. Their next signing is at 1:30 this afternoon, but you'll need to move fast.
Also very interesting. De Havilland, of course, had a great deal of experience building wooden aeroplanes. Those words all to do with the RAF, perhaps the greatest naval pilot in British maritime aviation history, Captain Eric Brown, Winkle as he was known, made the first ever landing and takeoff on an aircraft carrier using a jet aeroplane with a Vampire aboard HMS Ocean in December 1945. But with the RAF, its exploits were legion. On what was called Victory Day in 1946, commemorating the end of the war a year earlier, number 247 Squadron, which was the first RAF Vampire unit, made the first flypast by jet aircraft over London. Another 54 Squadron, which was based with 247 at Opium in Hampshire, carried out a remarkable flight 70 years ago this month, in July 1948, when some of its Mark III Vampires became the first ever RAF jet aircraft, and by a small margin, the first jet aircraft of all to fly across the Atlantic. Just managed to beat the squadron of United States Air Force Lockheed F-80 Shooting Star jet fighters in reaching the opposite side of the pond. And when they were there, number 54 Squadron's Vampires thrilled spectators at air shows around the United States. Would be also British fighters in the form of Vampires. They had 62 of them. And that's the reason the Norwegian Air Force Historical Squadron operates these two aircraft. They're both ex-Swiss Air Force. The lead aircraft is a two-seat T-55. The second one, a single-seat FB-6 fighter bomber. For 2018 and RAF 100, the Historical Squadron put both of these aircraft into RAF markings. The two-seater carries the colours of a number 4 Squadron aircraft, which was flown as part of the British Air Force's occupation in post-war Germany. And the single-seater, his day job sees him flying Hawks and FA-18 Hornets, but he's recently joined the Historical Squadron. The Finns used to fly Vampires as well. Two de Havilland Vampires of the Norwegian Air Force Historical Squadron. Lancaster, flown today by Flight Lieutenant Tim Dunlop, with Flight Lieutenant Neil Farrell as the co-pilot. And the Dakota, flown today by Flight Lieutenant Seb Davey, with a navigator, Flight Lieutenant Neil Whitehead. The Mark 19 Spitfire PS 915, flown today by Flight Lieutenant Andy Priest. Finally, MK 356, the Mark 9 Spitfire, flown today by Squadron Leader Andy Milliken, also OC BBMF.
Das schmeckt. Das am meins probieren, ob du das magst. Los. Nein. Das schmeckt doch nicht schlimmer, Mann. Nein. Das schmeckt doch nicht nach Eis.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready to give the crews a massive wave as they come round for the second of the trenchard passes. See the bombers enter the crowd line. Going to the pilots a big wave as they come through for the first of the Dakota and Lancaster formations. Seb's third year as a Lancaster and Dakota captain, having been in the flight since 2013. He's a volunteer and gives his time on weekends up to fly with the BBMF. Seb was formerly a tactical air transport instructor on the C-130J Hercules based at RAF Hellenic. Since 2014, his frontline job has been as an instructor on the RAF's newest tactical air transport aircraft, the 8400M Atlas, the 24 Squadron, based at Royal Air Force, Brize Norton. His navigator today, Neil Whitehead. This is Neil's first year as a navigator on the flight. Prior to this, Neil was a Tornado F3 navigator for 7 years, moving to become the E3D mission crew and has been with his current squadron for the last 8 years, currently stationed at RAF Washington.
Jak se dělá ten mapy, to je radši rozkývnout. Tady na to pravo to sluníčko. Tady bude kachny.
Tornado GR4 from the left. Team in front of us to represent the RAF's earliest days. Its official date of establishment was set for the 1st of April 1918. On that date it had almost 23,000 aircraft and more than 290,000 personnel. Also on the 1st of April 1918, a telegram was sent by King George V to the Secretary of State for Air, Lord Rothermere, and it read, "Today, the Royal Air Force, of which you are the Minister in charge, comes into existence, will preserve and foster that esprit de corps which these two separate forces have created by their splendid deeds." There were many splendid deeds to come, and here we take a trip back in time 100 years with pyrotechnics after the show. The 2018 presentation by the Bremont Great War Display Team. Diving in a collection of Allied and enemy aircraft. Imagine you're standing in a British second-line trench somewhere in the Somme sector of northern France, looking eastwards towards the British front line and towards the German trenches. Aerial warfare was still very much in its infancy at this time, of course. The aircraft that waged that war, by today's standards, were incredibly primitive, fashioned from wooden fabric in the main, with basic knowledge of aerodynamics on the part of the men who created them, and using engines that were often unreliable. And then there were the pilots, young, often inexperienced, their average age on entering the front line just 20, and challenging machines to fly, yet their training was still quite rudimentary. And yet they were thrust into dogfights, the like of which we see recreated here by the Bremont Great War display team, when they flew without oxygen at altitude and without parachutes. Passing by a display centre, we've got a Royal Aircraft Factory, B-2C, pursued by one of the most feared German fighters of the war, the Fokker triplane, the Fokker DR-1 with an Eidecker. B-2C, one of the most significant types of the First World War period. Indeed, that goes for the whole of the B-2 family. B stood for Levio Experimental. It was designed by Geoffrey de Havilland. Was the first Royal Flying Corps aircraft deployed to France in 1914. B-2C, used primarily for artillery observation as well as photo reconnaissance, light bombing duties, patrol work, night fighter missions against Zeppelins, and so forth. It's also a rather more agile Fokker triplane. The B-2's performance was much criticised, especially in forward maneuverability, though that did help make it a stable reconnaissance platform. Sadly, the improved B-2E was little better. We've got a reproduction of one of those in the static park here. There were still B-2Cs in RAF service after the armistice. This replica was originally from Hills film that was never made by Charles Boddington. It was restored to fly a few years ago by Charles' son Matthew and the aircraft's co-owner Steve Slater. And there's another Fokker triplane being pursued by a Royal Aircraft Factory SE-5A.
times their normal weight, so about 500 kilograms in their seat. Positive Gs make the blood flow to the lower part of the body with the risk of G-on. Our two Mirage 2000 are now getting in position for spiral pass, which means a continuous turn during which they will fly under more than 3 Gs in close motion. turn and axle the number 2 are now sliding into column formation for lazy 8 just in front of you. At this time, the distance in between the two aircraft is around 2 meters. Are separating for a tactical break followed by a pursuit phase. Delta is equipped with an automatic terrain following radar. The radar scans the ground and the aircraft flies itself at 50 meters over the ground. The pilot pulls up to allow the weapons officer to visually acquire the target, with the camera located under the plane. As soon as the weapons officer sees the objective, the pilot will roll out and dive toward the target. He will then level the plane, delivering the bomb that will be guided by the weapons officer.
Amount of power. It also has a lot of momentum.
indeed, this is a very hard maneuver coming up. They'll be pushing at minus 3.5 to minus 4G outside loop. They're just getting steady now and inverted, and the push will be coming up soon. Extremely hard to maneuver, especially in close formation. Minus 4G at the moment.
Just one of the many indications of the excellent performance of the extra EA330LX. The team is now flying. And resuming there in box formation. Pulling up for a wing over to our left. And then back down the display line for another quarter clover.
Number 4 will be speaking soon and showing you some of his impressive maneuvers in this aircraft. Brand new aircraft, Extra 330 LX. We just received them last Christmas.
And here they go up for the palm split.
New paint scheme as well, if you notice, quite different to last year, a lot more colourful. The number 4 is going to go for a tail slide in a moment, and then impress you with...
He starts with a vertical climb,
blending it into a flat spin, and the recovery. We are happy to be financially sponsored by ACAB, especially Economic Zone. We are also supported by the Royal Jordanian Air Force that provides us fighter pilots, active fighter pilots, and actually provides the transportation so that we can perform globally wherever we go.
Main 3 ship now back in big formation, and they'll be performing a clover leaf to their right, ready for the inverted palm break. And more synchronized stall turns from... They're currently inverted, but here they are rolling erect once more, about to dive in front of us on the B-axis towards the display data.
Cameras ready, folks.
So, 2 years later, he graduated from King Hussein Air College. He's been an instructor pilot on the Royal Jordanian Air Force's F-16s. He's been with the Jordanian Falcons since 2016. Now in comes the main 3 ship once more in line abreast. The solo will cross over and go into a knife edge pass. Very briefly, up goes the line abreast 3 ship for a loop.
They're really sweating it out there, believe me. They're really sweating it out there.
But that is excellently executed.
Nice photo opportunity coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 Royal Jordanian Falcons.
Royal Air Force Aerobatic sees the red arrow!
beautiful blue skies over Fairford, the distinctive red hawks clearly visible as they come down, noses pointing down, about to twist to the right. Red one for 2018 is squadron leader Martin Pertz. Martin is a former Harrier and Typhoon pilot and previously instructed on the Hawk. He's in his first year as the team leader. As Red one banks short diamond round to the right hand side, we're about to transition into the first of our formations, representing an aircraft in the Royal Air Force. The smoke is on for 4, 5, 8 and 9 as the edges of short diamond sweep back to form the wings of Typhoon. Typhoon, of course, the RAF's multi-role fighter, currently on operations in the Middle East and defending the skies of the UK 24 hours a day. Get those cameras ready, the aircraft's about to pull on, the smoke about to come on for the Typhoon roll. And roll calls Red 1 as the aircraft inverted at 3,000 feet. The platform of Typhoon clearly visible against that blue sky. On the right of Red 1 in Typhoon is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant John Bond. John is a former Takano pilot, instructor and display pilot. And in his first year on the team, joining us from the Typhoon are sweeping forward to form Lightning. Lightning, of course. The aircraft just arrived at RAF Marham on 617 Squadron, 5th generation stealth aircraft capable of simultaneous air-to-ground, air-to-air and electronic warfare missions. The lights are on towards us, the smoke is about to come on. A Red 1 pulling up now for the Lightning Loop. As the jet's apex is 6,000 feet on the right wing of Lightning is Red 4, Flight Lieutenant Chris Smith. Chris is a former Tornado GR4 pilot and Hawk T1 instructor. He's on his second tour with the team and is in his second year. This is Lightning. Phoenix go calls Red 1, the smokes are back on. The jets at the rear are about to join those on the wing to form the technically difficult formation of Phoenix. 6 aircraft all flying line abreast behind the leader and Red 6 and 7 tucking in at the back. On the left of Red 1 in Phoenix is Red 3, Squadron Leader Mike Ling. Mike has been a previous display pilot and was Red 10 for 6 years before rejoining the team as Red 3 for the 2018 season. Get the cameras ready, the smoke is about to come on for the Phoenix present. As Phoenix moves on to our right-hand side. As Diamond Apex is at 3,000 feet with the white smoke on, that distinctive diamond formation moving through the sky. On the left of Diamond is Red 5, Flight Lieutenant Dambusters. That is a former Typhoon pilot and weapons instructor and joins the team for his second year.
approach tornado. Aboard whispers Red 9 as the red and blue smoke comes on, 8 and 9 rolling around the white smoke of the rest of the formation. Red 1 about to bend the formation to the left with a change in colour. Keep those cameras rolling for tornado. Red 1 as the 7 jets pull up to the vertical. Red 6 and 7 staying low. Red and blue smokes on for the centenary split. The 7 jets form the path. Keep your eyes on Red 6 and 7 with the white smoke trailing as they move off to the left and right. It's time for the heart. 3, 2, 1, go! 6 and 7 pull over the top, the white smoke is on as they start their symmetrical heart. There's an airliner up there, but ignore that one. It's Red 8 we're looking at as he comes down the hill. His white smoke about to come on, ready to spear the heart. It's time for those cameras again. Get the lenses zoomed out. It's the vertical brake. Brake go calls Red 1, the vertical brake. This manoeuvre is named after the engineers and support staff that fly in the back seat of our aircraft and is dedicated to Circus and especially to JB. Red 1 flying a formation known as Leaders Benefit, with Red 1 at the front, Reds 2, 3, 4 and 5 in line abreast behind it. Red 1 pulls up for the second roll. I'd like to say hello to Will and Lottie.
Before 6 and 7 do their own rolls. Get those cameras ready, it's a perfect day for it. The spectacular Chippo break. There goes 6 inverted on the left, 7 in from the right hand side. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Red Arrows! Of course. Then we have the Ukrainian Su-27, the flanker, the Royal Air Force Chinook, the Finnish Air Force Hornet, and the Royal Air Force Typhoon. That really is an amazing amount of stuff. As it gets airborne, its display weight is 45,000 pounds, and with over 50,000 pounds of thrust available to this aircraft. This design was conceived by the Sukhoi Design Bureau in the 1970s as the Soviet Union looked to counter potential Western opponents like the F-15 Eagle of the United States Air Force. And it was intended turning 1985. A couple of years later came the first chance to have a close look at one of these aircraft, at least the crew of a Royal Norwegian Air Force P-3 Orion maritime patrol aircraft, when a flanker got rather too close over the Barents Sea and actually collided with the Orion. But then in Paris in 1989, this aircraft could do. Yeah, we had teams of people there trying to assess some of the capabilities of the aircraft, and it's easy to do with nothing more complicated than a stopwatch, timing the aircraft through 360 degrees. And a couple of days ago I did that. It took 16 seconds, which comes out with an average sustained rate of 22.5 degrees per second. Is that the flanker had fly-by-wire controls, which was the first time a production Soviet fighter. Different versions to this day, some of them equipped with thrust vectoring nozzles to give the aircraft even greater agility. Or 10 metres wingspan. This is 50% bigger than those other fast jets we've seen earlier today. And the Lyulka, or now Saturn, AL-31F turbofan engines are certainly providing thunderous performance. In the West from a big fighter with the MiG-29, not as big as this, but nonetheless a very potent aeroplane at the Farnborough show 30 years ago, the tail slide. Very impressive for a number of reasons. Firstly, aerodynamically, bear in mind the strength of the aircraft is built in laterally, but for the aircraft to be going forward. So in a tail slide, the stresses and strains on the aircraft are amplified. Also, the flight control inputs are in the opposite sense to make the aircraft do what it would do whilst going forward. But also the engines, they require hundreds of litres of air per second, and with the air not going in the right direction, it's amazing that the engines don't go into a surge regime. So we've seen it once, and now we're going to see it again. Flankers like this one. Because of the so-called pixelated colour scheme that's applied in blue, and that is put on the aeroplanes after they undergo a general overhaul. The same is true of other Ukrainian Air Force aircraft. And now a slow pass with the big dorsal air brake extended. a P1M model, which means it's an upgraded version of the Su-27P, which was the variant originally delivered to the Soviet Air Defense Force, the PVO. There are upgraded two-seaters as well, and the Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko flew in one of those in 2015. The previous August, the first aircraft to emerge after the upgrade done locally by the Zaporozhye State Air Repair Plant was accepted into service. Is, apart from giving them a new satellite navigation and instrument landing systems,